Broadcasting way too early from three separate Wi-Fi connections. It's PT Breakfast Club with Tony Maritato, Dave Kittle, and Jimmy McKay.
Man, it's a snow day. This is great. What do? The funny thing is, you couldn't be dragged out of bed when it's a school day. And then when it was a snow day, you were Hulk. You had Hulk-like energy and strength, and you could do whatever you want. And the funny part is when you're an adult, you're like, well, I still have to go to work probably. So what do you do when there's a snow day? Well, first of all, how are you, Tony?
Wonderful. Welcome back from Graham session.
We'll get into that. But let's talk about what everybody's feeling right now or doing. You're in Ohio. So are you closed? Are you crushed? How many feet of snow did you get?
We closed this morning. Right now we're closed until noon. We got about 12 to 14 inches. But it came in Friday night, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon. So it didn't really affect the business that much. We'll lose about 10 visits. Okay.
It started for me. I feel like your weather hits me almost 24 hours late. It just stopped in the overnight. I'm looking at, I don't know, mid shin, mid tibialis anterior. I don't know how PTs measure snow. Is there a goniometer for snow? No, we don't have that. It's bad.
Dude, that's what I should do. When I go into the clinic, I'm going to get the goni out to measure the depth.
That's what I want to see. I hit my driveway with a snowblower twice. After the first time, it looked like I never touched it. I went back a few hours later, looked outside. I was like, oh my God, I got to do it again. I should have waited. So first thoughts when something like this hits for PT owners, you had a week. It didn't surprise people. I saw a lot of people on LinkedIn saying, hey, I'm going to televisits. I'm going to telehealth visits. A lot of people saying, I'll close and then I'll just call people. What's your mindset? You just said you're going to lose about 10 visits. How do you shuffle those cards? How do you shuffle the deck?
So, the nice thing is it's Monday. We usually do a half a day on Friday. We just pushed everybody later in the week to make up what we lost. I'm of the mindset that I'm like, hey, it's a day off. Let's go enjoy it. And my wife is of the mindset, hey, that's a couple $1,000. Let's not give it up for nothing.
Right.
So we compromise and, we lose what we lose, but just like anything, so if we lose the visit this week, we extend the plan of care. We're still going to capture the revenue. We're still going to get that patient what they need. Thankfully, none of our patients are life or death. So,
right. Yeah. This goes without saying, someone doing inpatient's a little bit different or whatever. I saw some people, some major franchises, I won't say which ones, but we're closed until noon. And these have pretty big footprints. So I thought that was, if you're going to make a decision, making it clinic to clinic is probably a pain in the ass. We're good, but we're not good. We're on a hill. So even if there's no snow, you know what I mean? It's we're closed until noon. And then they said, we're going to have some later hours open for options for you over the next couple of days to make that back. That feels like a good compromise, right?
Yeah.
Snow days.
And again, every business is going to have breakage. You have to plan for breakage. You have to have enough profit in the margin that you can handle something like this, and it's not going to put you out of business.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll hear from more people dealing with the snow. I didn't have time this morning to make fake spot. Yeah, I didn't have time to do the full soup to nuts because I slept in because I was at Graham sessions this weekend. Again, a reminder, this is a very small private conference put on by Private Practice Section. I now know what it feels like to work communications for APTA, I think. Because I was there as an independent human being talking about the conference. And then next thing you know, so many people were doing this to me, finger wagging. Well, you need to. I was like, hold up. Who are you? John 247 on Instagram. What are you talking about? I don't need to do jack. What are you talking about? So Let's talk about the conference, then we'll talk about the repercussions. So the conference is great. Like, again, these are the people that you see on LinkedIn, or maybe you don't see on LinkedIn, that go to CSM every year. APTA's private practice section started this conference 19 years ago. I said 20. It was 19 years ago. Because they were like, hey, listen, can we get some actionable stuff? Let's get a bunch. CSM is huge. CSM is a circus. You can't have decisions at an NFL game. You know what I mean? Like with everybody there. It's not how it works. So by no means, by the way, I want to preface this, by no means is APTA private practice section saying like, we're coming together, we're making decisions. It's not what this was. This is a bunch of people who, by the way, paid their own money to go there. People were like, I want to know what this thing cost. I'm like, it cost me $300 to go. Plus, I got to pay the New Jersey Turnpike and I had to buy gas. It's very funny to watch people immediately jump to, well, who the hell are you? I'm like, I'm Jimmy. Nice to meet you. Slow your roll. Conference is great. I've had people that were there that have been going to this for close to all the time. I did an interview with Patrick Graham, who obviously the sessions are named after, who has some great insights being there almost, if not all. I think he skipped 1 or 2 years. This is a bunch of people, mostly private practice owners, but they are, in my opinion, getting smarter about like, well, where are the academics? Because if we keep finger wagging at schools got to cost less, or you got to give us better students, like if they're not in the room, it feels not productive. So there are some academics in the room. Someone did point out, I won't say who, because that's the deal. You're allowed to say what was said, but not who said it. Good. Someone said, where are the payers, man? What if we got some people? And then people were like aghast. Well, they would never come. And of course, Tony and Jimmy think, did you ask?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you sure? What would happen if they did? Right. So they're not necessarily in the room. The 3 biggest problems that we talked about, because it's a day and a half. You could only have so much programming. People were like, why wasn't reimbursement just talked about for a day and a half? I'm like, because I would have fell asleep and left. I don't know what to tell you. Right. Again, we do not have magic wands. It's not like we said, we're going to get together and we're going to solve everything, which is a slippery slope. Right. What's what people say. Well, you said you got together with smart people. Yes, I did. The 3 big ones that like stuck with me were student debt. That was one of a session at the end where they brought a student up and she literally had a piece of paper and was like, oh, I checked my account this morning. I graduated 4 months ago and I owe $175,000. And I'm making, I forget what she said, $60,000, $70,000 because she's in peds. And she's like, I will not be able to buy a house. She's like, I have a financial planner because my parents made me get one. I'm not gonna be able to buy a house for the next whatever. I'll probably move out of this area because she's in Alexandria too. I'll probably move out of this area because there's no possible way I can afford to live here anymore. This doesn't make any sense. I thought it was funny that they brought up 4 people on that panel: student, academics, business, somebody else, policy. They introduced the student first. She did the big reveal, the big, ooh, this is how much money she owes. And everybody around the room, of course, is like, this sucks. We should stop it. And then the student didn't talk for 42 minutes. Because they didn't talk to her. Like, sorry, I keep calling her a student. She graduated 4 months ago. She is a physical therapist. She didn't talk for 42 minutes. And I was like, glad she took a Saturday to come and not be addressed. And then we just talked around her for 42 minutes before she talked again at the end. I was like, but here's the problem. Here's the thing that people were up in arms about a post I had last week. I want to be very clear about what I think. Like loan forgiveness programs, cool. Like if you do this, then you get that. Great. That's what I mean. Like PSLF. Like if you work for a nonprofit for 10 years, awesome. Do I think loans should be forgiven? No. So everyone's like, see, she signed up a dotted line. She got gut punched with 175. Screw her. Okay. You're not going to have anybody to hire in 6 years. Oh, shit. Now it's a me problem. Oh, now we get the violin out. But I can't get anybody. You're telling. So the video I recorded, I think some people keep hearing emotions in my video, which is good. And then they assume what I'm saying. I'm not saying we should take pity on these poor adults who signed an agreement to pay back a loan. I'm saying if this keeps continuing, you won't have anybody to hire. And then all the business people are like, oh, yeah, now it's a me problem. Now I'm intrigued. What do we do about this? So I'm saying, should we change the system in some way to make this less shitty? There is a company out there that approached me a while ago, and they essentially are like ROTC or PT. What they're saying is, we will begin, if you sign this on this dotted line, more dotted lines. You're in PT, you sign this dotted line. We as a company will start paying back your loans right now. And we will pay off your loans in, it's different for every student with the amount, whatever, 6 years. If you work for us for 6 years, if you leave, you owe us the money. And I look at that like that's a solution. I forget the name of the company. I'll find. I'm like, that's a solution. ROTC, that model of if then, the answer can't be it's too much. Let's just wipe it all clean.
Right.
But you can't also say it's because the government doesn't have money, because we have buckets of money buying Greenland. So I think that ROTC angle is better. If you work for a nonprofit for 10 years, whatever, and you make payments, whatever is left is it. I hate the word forgiven. It's like, well, now it's a contract and we earned it. It's not forgiven. I paid it. You said if you do this, you'll pay that. So that was that was problem number one. Reimbursement wasn't talked about
at all.
No, not at all. I meant like it wasn't like a session, because they're like, dude, we do it we had to sort of do it every other year. It's like, otherwise, just have a separate conference for that. But it was talked about in every single discussion. I mean, this is a math conference, right, for PTs. The second one was not direct primary care. So I took everything we talked about. Primary care access was one in Utah. I took everything that we said. I only talked once, like in the room. Most of the time I was in the hallway interviewing people, because that's what I do. But I was in the room for that, and everybody was like, we won. And in my brain, I'm like, you are on mile 9 of the marathon. Do you know what you get? Have you ever run a marathon, Tony?
I have not.
You've been to one or seen one.
Yeah.
You know what you get at mile 9?
What?
A cup of water and a granola bar. That's all you get. You're not done. You don't win anything. No t-shirt, no clappity clap. You get a pat on the back. So like, I stood up and I said, oh, here's the other thing. They put a card, like an index card, on every table. And it was the definition of what because now it's going to become and I might screw this up. It's not like an academy or a section. It's going to become a something. The primary care special interest group or whatever, some group, people are going to be able to belong to it and learn from each other, which is great. They put a definition of, because you have to define it now. What is primary care physical therapy? And they put an index card on the table of on every table in the room before their talk. Great move.
So wait, real quick, are they calling it primary care physical therapy, or are they calling it primary care, or what are they calling it?
I would have to go back to the index card. Hang on. I took a picture of it for a reason that Tony is going to love, in my opinion. I took a picture of it. Oh, there it is. They're calling it Defining Primary Care Physical Therapy, APTA's Primary Care Special Interest Group Definition.
Okay.
Then they talked about it.
If it's primary care physical therapy, then people need to say primary care physical therapy and stop saying primary care. That is destroying any movement in that direction.
Right. Again, and I think most of the colleagues that are there understand what Jimmy does. Like, I am not there to like poop on you. I'm really not. Most of the time, I'll take a shot at someone in the comment section every once in a while if I think they're a douchebag. But most of the time, my questions are to get myself and the other person to think deeper. So I came up and I said, this is awesome. I don't understand the nuances of policy like other people, like Dana Strauss. Like, I hang out with her. And then I also said, Dana, tone it down for me. You got to talk to me. I understand you're here. So I walked to the front of the room, and we're on the 7th floor of APTA's Avengers Tower. I mean, you can see the Capitol building. This is legit. And I said, this index card is awesome. You define primary care physical therapy. And I know that this is an internal definition. This is not what they're putting on a t-shirt. It wouldn't be able to be. And then I grabbed the mic and I said, I want everybody in the room. Look at this view. Come on, everybody. Look at this view. It's just a wall of windows. And I'm like, I want you to look outside. Look outside. Everybody's still looking at me. I was like, stand up and look outside. I'm not kidding. I was just repeating it until people were like uncomfortable. And then I said, once half the room stood up and looked outside, I said, none of those people understand what this is. None of them care. They don't care. They don't understand it. Why? Because you put an 83-word definition of a thing, 83 words of a definition on a table. My friend, if anybody here was part of writing that, I give you $1 million if you can come up here and recite all 83 words in order. You can't do it. That's okay. I know that's not but I'm being facetious. I'm trying to draw them in. And I said, this is awesome. We're at mile 9 of the marathon. You get a cup of water and a granola bar. You need to answer 3 questions. If a patient sees primary care physical therapy written on a sign tomorrow in Utah or anywhere, Utah was where the decision was made, how would they know that's where they should go instead of urgent care, an orthopedist, a PCP, emergency room? We're close. We're not there. Let's not celebrate yet. We're at mile 9. Question 2, what's the one sentence we want the public to remember about primary care physical therapy 5 years from now? You have to put your words in their mouth. Well, first in their brain, then it'll come out of their mouth. You have to repeat that. And if you don't, you'll fail. And then the final question I asked, what do we think will cause this to fail? And then I paused for dramatic effect. And people were like, ooh, he's so edgy. I'm not edgy. This is not edgy. Not clinically, not policy-wise, but behaviorally. This is a culture. You're trying to change culture. No one said the word culture in the room. So I was like, that's a cool victory, but you're on mile 9. You cannot stop here. But you also have to change sports because you went from a policy win to now a culture marketing. Now it's a triathlon, not a marathon. Ooh, look, there's the analogy. You now switch from the bike. You got to run now. It's a different sport. And if you're not good at it, hire a runner. Get an Olympian. Get someone who's awesome at it to close this door for you. Because if it doesn't go well, it fails. And then what was
did you get or do you have a single sentence kind of definition of it?
Yeah, I wrote a couple down because, of course, I did all this in AI while I'm standing next to the stage as I'm about to go on there. So I'll find those in a second because I said, hey, tactical. And then I read a bunch of the answers. I said, what if Apple were to roll this out? What if Amazon were to roll this out? What if Google were to roll this out? And that was my like sort of pitch. So I'll look for that right now. Primary care one-liners. Here it is. I don't know. I don't love any of these. I don't hate them, but I don't love them. Front door care, which I was like, we can't use that.
Oh,
I'm like, that's funny, but don't do that. First step care for pain and movement. Again, our profession is the problem is it's ambiguous. Do you know what I mean? Like we're going to run into the same problem. This is simple, not easy. Start with movement primary care. I didn't love it. Primary care physical therapy is a policy name, not. Yeah. I'll find some more suggestions.
There was the choose PT, or that's me. PT first or choose PT first.
That's like saying buy wrench first. Get PT first. Buy wrench first. Because PT is a profession, not an intervention. That's what. First for what? When? Like just do it is great. Because like what's it? Doesn't matter. We're higher up. We're lower in the stream.
Yeah.
And what was the third thing I wrote about? Student debt. There was a bunch of things talked about. I'll think of the third big, hairy, scary problem.
Was it hiring? Or was that still part of the student?
I think the third one was just like the junk drawer, like hiring, business costs are going up. And I'm like, guys, like that's sort of what inspired me to make that video yesterday where I said, do you want to save $5,000 and not go to a marketing weekend course? I'll save it for you right now. The FIT VP principle. I've been saying this since I was a PT student. Frequency, intensity, time, type, volume, and progression are exercise principles. They're marketing principles. They're relationship principles too. Like it's just human. It's anywhere a human meets a human. It's like, well, what should we do? What's not working? Well, then just do it every 6 seconds. Too much frequency, right? It's not just do it more. It's like, what's the right frequency? I don't know. We test it. That's what a good marketer is. Good marketer is a scientist who's like a social scientist. That's why I love running a radio station. You know how many times on a Friday night with like all the guys that help me run the radio station, we're like we get drunk and come up with a funny idea and we'd be like, this is a slam dunk. We'd do it. And a week later, we're like, that did not go well. And then sometimes we're like, this idea, it's going to be all right. And that thing runs for 6 years. We're big dumb animals. We have no idea. So I think it was hiring, I think it was policy and payment, all sort of a smorgasbord. You saw that in every talk. So while reimbursement wasn't said, it was everywhere. So,
I had two questions. You answered one already. So it was at the APTA building. It wasn't at a convention center or something else.
No.
And then what was the Go ahead.
I was going to say, because APTA was smart enough, they made their top floor something anybody can rent out. So there's craft services, there's a great view, there's everything. So yeah, it was there, but again, it was private practice section renting that from APTA and then inviting 150 people who wanted to talk and listen. So that was number one.
And then I was going to say, what was the criteria for who got invited? Not just to speak, but to attend.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I could ask. Like I literally wrote to because I know the people who put this on. I'm like, why'd you invite me? And I'm like, well, Jimmy, you think differently. I'm like, okay. So I think it's that. I think they're looking for people who think differently. And that's when I said, well, can I record there? I've recorded there before. And they're like, well, we don't know. And I'm like, well, then I can't come. Like, what am I doing there? Like, I could come there and just write stuff down, but I don't do that. Yeah. So that's who's picked. Here's the thing. They are not trying to be exclusive. Like, they're not like, we're just going to keep inviting the same 28 people. They don't. The people when people push back and they say, look, this sucks, and they're being elitist, I say, point to the person you're talking about. Well, no, not that, not one person, all of them. And I go, all of them is made up of a bunch of one of thems.
Right.
Like Keaton Ray graduated the same year as me. She's running this with Sharon Dunn, who was APTA's president. They could go hang out with their friends anywhere. Why do they put their time, effort, and money into doing this? They honestly want things to change. What's the best solution? Who the hell knows? But get a bunch of motivated people from different backgrounds who would like to suggest good ideas in a room for 2 days is a way, right? And that's what we do that's what we do most of it. That's what this is. Like, I'd even like to say, like, how could you do one of these, 12 of these a year, but online? Like,
so I saw one of your video posts recently, and somebody laid out their action plan because they were complaining that there was no action plan. Were there any ideas that came out or anything that really stood out? I was like, oh man, we never thought about that, or we never considered that, or we haven't tried that. Most
of it is like, here's what we're doing, or here's what we did. And then like, here, like, would that scale? Like, it's that, but there's no one in the room who makes that decision. Like, but here's my thing. Like, no one at APTA can make that decision. So I understand, like, if you're disinterested in APTA and you're like, Jimmy's over there at APTA. Well, what's the plan? What's the plan then? What's the plan? What's the plan? I'm like, the plan is we're all in this together, whether you're in the boat or not.
Right.
And it's not like we're just not doing stuff. Right. Yeah. So someone asked me, like, well, what would you suggest doing? Not join the APTA? I go, yeah, sure. Well, then what do? Join the UPTA or just sit back and take it? I was like, join the APTA or not. And if you join, you immediately start working on solving your own problems. And if you don't, you immediately start working on your own problems. It's not an easy button. It's not. It's a group of people who are trying to figure it out. Dude, we're outmanned and outgunned. You and I have said this. People have said, you have brought me over to the dark side. And by the dark side, I mean probably the smart side, which is reimbursement. Assume from today, January 26th, until the day you die, will not go up. And then if it does, I'm not saying don't advocate. I'm not saying don't try. Someone else do that, because I would smack my head against a concrete. I don't know how these people do it in advocacy. I don't know how they do it. God bless them. To ask for the thing that's very clearly deserved with statistics and all that stuff, and then just be like, all right, well, we're only going to cut you 1.5. That's a win. I would jump off a freaking bridge. I wouldn't last 10 minutes. So good for you. I can't do it. Glad you are. I am going to now operate under the assumption it's never going to get better. Not because I doubt the advocates or think it's not good. I'm going to act as if. And then act as if educational costs will continue to rise forever ad nauseum, no matter how red your face gets. Okay, now act like MacGyver. Given this, can you make a thing out of this? And this is all we got, people. There's no weapon we're not pulling out of our pocket. Like, get over yourself. So I do love when the people jump in my comments now and they're like, well, what the big bad APT, what the 150 elites decide? They decided that troll posting in my comments ain't gonna help anybody. But thanks for the boost in follower count and attention, I guess. But when I push back, when I say that is a good point, we shouldn't have gone to the doctorate. That was a crappy idea. I think. I don't know. Doesn't matter. We're there. You've seen bells. You cannot unring them. Okay. Now what? Now what? What would you do? Nothing? Nothing is an option. I just think it's a shitty one.
So you driving home 6 hours, I think it was. What was going through your head during that time?
Kind of what it always is. Kind of what it was before I started a podcast. I was like, dude, the answer's in the room, and luck favors not the bold. There's no luck. Luck is it's a lazy term. It favors the people who are just going to try stuff and risk stuff, and that's not most people, and that's okay. Right. Like it really did solidify, because I know people in academics. The people that I know, I don't know the people on the 12th floor though. I know the people on the 6th floor, like professors, program chairs, deans. I know them. Every time I meet someone who's a little bit of a higher level, I'm like, oh, you don't call the price shots either, huh? I'm like, where's that person? I'm like, not at APTA headquarters on the Saturday. Why would they come here? I think I used that quote from Upton Sinclair like 6 times, which is, you can't force a man to understand something that his salary depends on him not understanding it. It's like, if you're making decisions from a university-wide perspective and you have 80 seats in your PT program and you have 81 applications, why would you lower the cost?
Right.
Well, because in 10 years, the profession, they're like, I'm a university. I'm not a physical therapy profession. So I see from physical therapists or people who want to apply going, I can't do this. And I go, you're right. Now make a decision with your head, not your heart, or else later you'll have to make one with both. And maybe the answer for you is don't do it. Like I look downstream at things I don't look at, which is, hey, with this cap on loans, like the whole non-professional thing, whatever. They're like, it's just going to be a bunch of rich white people in PT. Right? Because like, who can't afford it? So now I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. That sucks. So what does it look? So you're making decisions now that'll affect people that are not you 10 years from now. And you're like, well, if I'm a university president, I need to solve the university problem now. So the answer is a PT program is low cost to run. We have 81 applications for 80 seats. What's the problem? From their position, no problem. No problem. Why would they go against their own nature? So when people's like, we'll get the APTA to tell the schools, not their boss. Doesn't work that way. So your answer, while emotionally makes sense, logically doesn't. APTA or CAPTI or any of these organizations, they can't tell a university, don't do that. You can't. You said to be accredited, you need to do these things. The school said, gotcha. We did those things. Great. What are you going to charge for it? Whatever we want. And then they do. And then you're shocked by it. So understand the physics. Now that you know that, bitch about it to yourself or to your friends. Then move on. And then decide how to solve it. The same thing with reimbursement. Why would they? Why would they? Unless people are like, well, then we should strike. And I go, great idea. How are you going to do that? Yeah. That's why I annoy people. Because I don't just agree with them. I go, awesome. How? I will be the first person with a sign or something. But like, show me how we get enough people to make a difference. And their answer usually is like, well, that's for someone else to decide. I go, oh, okay, cool. Got it.
So is there any AI discussion?
No, which shocked me. But then they said, oh, it was the entire thing last year. And I was like, got it. So you got to cool that off. Because like some people do come back year to year, and some people, which is good. It's it's usually their first time and stuff like that. But they were like, everything's AI. Everything was AI last year. And I was like, sort of still a big deal, but keep going. But Stephen Cohen was there, Prompt was there. Like, to me, those are the people in the room going, don't talk about AI. I have this part of AI. I have the AI using it as a solution for your actual AI is not a problem. AI is the thing that gets you to the thing. So like when Stephen Cohen's like, RTM, $8,000, add $8,000 a month, plug in, this is how it works. He's like, that's a money problem. That's a problem that is being talked about in that room. So AI wasn't talked about, but was. Like, it was. So
Very nice. Sounds like
cool.
it was a good event. It sounds like, you took something away from it.
I did. Well, and then what I did differently was, because again, you got to ask yourself hard questions. In the past, 10 years ago, I was there with a little handheld recorder as a new grad, just doing a bunch of whatever. And now, fast forward to 2026, a couple of years ago, I would have sat down with a camera and a microphone and I would have recorded. And then, 2 weeks from now, because it takes a while to like edit and whatever. Now I'm just like, why not just go live?
Yeah.
So I did that. So I sat down with a little bit. People were way less nervous or apprehensive. They were just like, what are you going to ask me? I was like, here are the 3 questions. What's something you're excited to hear solutions for? What's something you didn't see on the docket that you want to see solutions for? And what's something that needs to be on the docket next year? Those were the first 3 questions I asked. But then, of course, in any good conversation, it sort of branched off. And then I let it go because I had Philip Goldsmith from Home Health and this person from Private Practice. Like the same question to 30 different people is from different backgrounds, wildly different answers. I was looking at it from a tech perspective, like, was there interaction live? Did YouTube reward me or the platforms reward me for going live 10 times in one day? I'll be able to figure that data out, today or the next couple of weeks to figure that out. But for me, fucking way easier, right? Because, that's done. I'll run the transcript through AI to get I did, of course, like go improve the thumbnail, improve the description and the title afterwards because I didn't know what we were going to talk about. So, and then I'm flipping them to all podcast episodes. But then on my grand scheme of things, my big, hairy, audacious goal in 2026 that I told nobody about until I was doing it was I want 365 episodes minimum in 365 days in 2026. And I think I'm like 6 or 7 episodes ahead. So on January 26th, I'm scheduled through, February 10th. And it's more, and I'm, of course, now I'm doing more than one a day because I don't want these things to sit there because they do have a shelf life, right? If I drop something from Graham Sessions 6 weeks from now, it's like, dude, why don't you just do it faster? I also don't want to drop 10 episodes in a day, so I'm just doing them one a day. Well,
why don't you want to drop 10 episodes in a day?
That's a great question. I don't know because the pundits have said don't do it, but maybe they're wrong, and that's a good. Maybe I can go back and just make them all release today.
That's what I would do. I've been doing it. I've been doing it for a year. I know what people have said, and then I've seen what happens. Generally, I mean, even if I'm going to drop 5 clips in a day, I just drop them all in one shot. I've also scheduled them every 2 hours. I see 0 difference in the performance and the analytics. And this became popular on TikTok. TikTok people started saying, look, just throw up 30 videos, let the algorithm figure it out. It will serve up what needs to be served up when. For something like this, that's relatively time sensitive, that it was an actual event, I would just hit them all. I would just throw them all out there, make them all public.
Screw it. All right. The first one was scheduled to come out at 1:00. I'll just change them to all 1:00 today.
And go back to human behavior. So we've been watching The Pit. We binge watched all of season 1. They were all available. Now we're on season 2. We're caught up and now we have to wait. Like, it doesn't mean we're not going to watch them. When they were all available, we watched all the season or all the episodes. Now they're spreading them out a week apart. It's frustrating. We'll still watch them, but it didn't change our behavior when they all dropped at once.
Screw it. I'm going to do it all 1:00. Then I'll do all of them. I did 10 and I'm still going to be, because I couldn't do, I didn't want to bring my stuff and set it up for the second day was a half day.
Yeah.
And the funny part is a lot of people there had no idea who I was. They're like, what? Because there I am sitting at a table with a giant camera and lights and a big mic and a headset microphone. And people sort of do this like what is that? Right. People who know me are like, there's Jimmy again being weird with a microphone. And I'm like, hey, you got 10 minutes? If I didn't know people, I'm like, you got 10 minutes? And they're like, no, what are you doing? And I'm like, so no. And then what are you doing? Right. I want to say no. And then I'm like, just trying to get some of the ideas to leave the room. And they were like, that's kind of cool. I'm like, you have ideas? Well, I don't want to what are we here for then? Like, so I was sort of like poking people. Then I said, how about this? Follow me on LinkedIn, see what other people have done. What I'm doing is I'm lowering the anxiety. Like they're like, are you going to like fire a question? Because they don't know me. In their defense, am I going to shove a microphone and start yelling? Maybe. I was like, watch what other people have done. Watch the roller coaster. Everybody who goes on gets off. It's safe. No one dies. Right. And then in a week, if you're like, I would have done that, email me and we'll do a 10-minute with this. Colleen says, some of us work from home and binge listen to your podcast. Yeah, she's right. Yeah. And I know that. It's making me change my thinking, which I like. Yeah. Everything is said, spread it out. You have to have something once a week or whatever. So I think as long as you can have something once a week, good. And then if you've got a lot, why are you bogarting it? Like in a week, Graham Sessions is going to be gone in people's brain, right? It was the thing. Yeah. What's the new thing? I don't know. This. So yeah, you're right. So I'm going to release them all at 1:00 today.
Beautiful.
They're ready. Like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
All right. What else can we talk about? Colleen, I'm curious. What are you working with home? What are you doing from home? You got like 68 letters after your name. I love that. Colleen, PT, DPT, WCSCLT. It's women's sports. I want to know what that is. I love some of these weird.
I know a lot is the lymphedema.
Oh, lymphedema. She said, either or University of Minnesota. I don't know what means.
Either you froze or I froze.
Yeah, you're frozen on my screen. Am I froze? There we go. Now we're back. What else? Pelvic and lymph. Yep, that makes sense. Working from home. Where from? I'm just curious, Colleen. We can also talk later, so we don't have to have a weird one-person conversation. Utilization
management.
Yeah. All right. Well,
so I grabbed somewhat related to what we were just talking about. I grabbed this screenshot before we came on. This is from Meta Business Suites. This is my business Facebook page. I forgot about this report until just this morning. So this compares, it says results based on businesses with similar organic 28-day reach in your category. Now, my category is medical and health, I think. Mm-hmm. But I put out a lot of content. I mean, more than one a day. I probably put out 3 to 4 a day on average. I think I do 50 on average posts a month or 28 days.
So that's almost 2 a day.
Yeah. But some days it's going to be 4 or 5. Like I did 10 on Saturday and then I did 3 on Sunday. But I'm still lower than a lot of people.
So wait, can I see if I'm reading this right? So it's saying you, in 28 days, you published 117 pieces of content, whatever that is, video, picture, whatever. Yeah. And then it's saying it's so the good thing is it's comparing you to other businesses with the same reach, maybe not followers, but same reach.
Yeah.
And in terms of followers, so that's the bottom left one is a good number for you.
Right.
You have lower followers than other people who have the same reach, which means you're doing more with less.
Right.
You're doing less interactions than others. But again, that could be looked at like, well, you have less followers. I think you're punching above your weight in terms of reach.
How often your business? Yes, it is. I'm sharing this more to say, look, your business. So I'm between the 25th and the 50th percentile.
Oh, that's what that chart is. Got it. So it's showing you 117. You are.
I published 117 posts in 28 days. I'm not even at the 50th percentile for the number of posts for other businesses with comparable reach.
Dude, this just reinforces that idea that you did that we've talked about. So I was listening to a Hormozi video and he's flip-flopped. He's by flip-flopped, I mean, he's tried stuff and been like, no, let's do this. So right. I don't love Alex Hormozi, but like he's right a lot of times. Just can't listen to him a lot. He said something along the lines of, I used to do X number of days of content recording a month. And then he said a number of days of planning and recording. And then he flip-flopped them. He was like, we prepare. So what they're doing is they're making not more stuff, a lot of better stuff. He's like, that's the better part.
So I would say he can do that now because he made a lot of stuff before.
Correct. So I think if you're here, if the bell curve is the hockey stick is here, make stuff. This is coming from me, who used to run a radio station. Do you know how much stuff we used to make?
Yeah.
All we made was stuff. 168 hours worth of stuff. Is this something? Go ahead.
A quick strategy tip for those. I know a lot of people watching this are like, I can't even stay consistent with one a week. How am I supposed to do 4 a day?
Yes.
Part of it is you're looking at me with 10 to 15 years of content collected into a library. Like, I will literally go on my desktop, go back to 2017, find clips, find still frames, grab pictures, and repurpose them today. So like anything, you've got to take this with a grain of salt. I can't go to a college football athlete and expect my 47-year-old sedentary male to do what he's doing. We have to have perspective, but at the same time, when should I have planted the oak tree 20 years ago? Start collecting the media now. Start collecting the assets now. Start building the digital real estate now, because 10 years from now, you're going to need it.
Yep. Mike Reinhold chiming in on Instagram saying, unfortunately, none of these problems are new. Agreed. Mike is not wrong. These problems have been building for years. This isn't the first time we've outlined these problems. We spend a lot of time talking. So should we start trying to solve these? I know, not easy. Mike's not wrong. Yes. You've seen my chart, right? I throw this chart up whenever I'm talking to someone. You have to define the who. So when Mike is saying this, Mike is smart enough. He's like, Mike Reinhold has a clinic in Massachusetts somewhere. Mike solves Mike problems because he has to, because no one's coming to solve Mike problems. Tony solves Tony problems. We can an association is meant to solve the problems that we can't or won't. Well, I shouldn't say won't. We could easily won't solve a lot of problems, but no one's coming to help. I gave a talk to PT students about me being a lifeguard on the beach before PT school. And we did a day's worth of this was the best day ever. We were becoming beach lifeguards. Day number 6 is when they teach you how to run in slow motion, by the way, in case you're worrying. But day 5, they were here's how you do jet skis and boats and do cool stuff that we're probably never going to do. But it was cool. And then the next morning at 5 a.m., we're on the beach and they're like, you see that buoy? 1,000 yards out, at the horizon, literally you're out on the beach in South Carolina and you're looking out towards England or whatever's across from there. And they're like, hey, everybody put on your buoy and go swim and touch the buoy. And one of the guys was like, because we did boats the day before, was like, where's the boat? And the instructor took his Baywatch sunglasses and just brought it down and just you're the boat, start swimming. That's the greatest lesson ever. Dude, you're the boat. You're always the boat. You're always the boat. No one's coming. If you find people along the way to help you, use them. Read a book, listen to a podcast. You still need to go execute. You are still the boat. Start swimming. That's it. But I do so you're realistic. I was going to say cynical. I think you're realistic.
Practical.
What are your thoughts about two double-folded question about meetings like Graham Sessions happening and meetings like Graham Sessions worth Tony himself going to it?
I think it's one of those deals, and we see it constantly. And what you said was exactly what I think a lot of therapists would say about most patients in the physical therapy clinic.
Good example.
It's a situation where people are coming. How many of those people are going to take the information, take the inspiration, take the ideas and go implement on it? Virtually none of them. The real value is somebody like you go, you maybe there's a spark of an idea and you take that and you do something with it, partly because you have the capacity to do it because you're not seeing 40 to 60 patient visits a week, partly because it's in your nature. You're a builder, you're a creator, you're going to use this to kind of fuel. I get the impression that there was nothing like that happened for you. So it's more just, hey, this confirms, this reiterates on the ideas that I'm already working toward. I'm just going to keep working toward that. Yeah. most of the time it's a waste of time. Most of the time there's nothing tangible that actually comes, but it's not the fault of the organization or the organizer. It's just, we hear it, maybe we get a little excited, and that inspiration wanes within the next 7 to 10 days.
The exciting parts, and this is, of course, again, where my podcast came from, where I said, dude, the back of the napkin, the let's meet at the hotel lobby, 2.5 drinks deep, and you make a connection with someone, and you're like, yeah, we need to do this. And you're like, I'm a computer programmer. I know how to do that. And you're like, you can do that? And you're like, all right, well, should we do this? Like, that's where businesses are born. So it's almost like the problems and the presentations, those are just the pile of wood. It's like, you got to go to the hotel lobby to start the fire, and then you got to follow up with it. Like, you have to do the surprise part. The physical part of physical therapy is on you, the patient. But the problem-solving solution part of a Graham sessions or CSM or anything, it's on you. If you think the answers are going to be given by PowerPoint, they're not. You have to do something with them. It's a good, I don't know the rule, 80-20 probably, 20% learning, 80% doing. And I'm a guy who shares information, and I'm telling you, learning is probably 20%. Doing, well, because there's a bunch of learning in doing too. So you could get ready all you want, but once you start doing, it's not coming. It's not. So here's a crazy business idea. I even have the logo. This is Jimmy and Tony's mobile studio. We're going to get, my brother has one of those like 20-foot trailers that he chose behind his truck. We're going to roll into Cincinnati, and then we're going to roll into Pittsburgh, and then we're going to roll into Philly, and then we're going to roll into Scranton. I'm just naming towns. We roll in with a studio that goes, you got a practice owner? You can't put out 68 pieces of content a month? Great. Tell us all about your practice. By the time we get to Philly, where you are, we're going to put you in front of a camera, or we're just going to come in with a media team. You pay us 10 grand. We give you 6 months worth of stuff, and then we leave. And then you tell us if it's worth it, and we come back. Is there a market for now? I mean, I see this even bigger now. People live in my town. There's a creator studio. Like, you can go rent a podcast studio. My thing is, you still need to know what to do with it. That's not the hard. I don't think the renting of the studio, I think that'll come and then go very quickly. It's here's what you have. Here's what you have right now. If you're nodding and you're like, I have to do, okay, yeah, I get it. If I put out to compete, I have to put out 150 things. You start out with nothing. That's the hardest page to start. It's like, there's nothing there. What do I do? I still think people need to have their hand held, myself included. Is there a market for that?
I don't think there is. And I say that not because people aren't going to say, yes, that's what I want. Yes, that's what I need. I need to lose 20 pounds. Like, legitimately, I need to lose 20 pounds. I know how to do it, theoretically. I know why it's important. It's the best gift my 50-year-old self can give to my 70-year-old self today. Like, all of these things are in place, yet it hasn't happened. I go through the same cycle again. Nobody can make it happen. I know the drugs that are out there that I could use. I know the diet advice that I need to follow. I know all of those things. I almost feel like it goes back to, it's like the people who are already successful, the people who are already doing it, they're the ones that will take an idea like this and do it. Huh?
But do you think there's a small enough audience of those people? Like, I know if we're looking at a pyramid, it's the people. All right. So there's 3 types of people. There's lots of types of people. Maybe there's 4 types of people. There's the people who know this and they're already doing it. And they're like, I don't even need to listen to Jimmy and Tony right now because I've been doing this. Right. They're ahead of us.
Yeah. There's
the people who agree and they might pull the trigger if you just held their hand. That is probably even, so it's super small, but a little bigger. There's the people who would read a book, buy the camera, just not take it out of the box. There's those people. Then there's people who are like, I'm never going to do this ever, so why bother? I'm talking about that second group who is like, all right, if you show up and it's $5,000 and you're going to do it for me, I'll pay you.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's probably for us, there's probably a big enough audience to make it worth the adventure, to make it worth the time and the money.
Let's do it in Ohio. Your home field advantage. Not now because there's a bunch of snow. Oh, it's snowing again here in New York. Awesome. That's what I like. That's what we like to see. I still, because you've done this sort of, right? I mean, that was more teaching and less doing, but that was, I mean, they did a little bit while they were, right? Explain that.
Yeah, we had a handful of people come out, you know, and my main objective when I was laying this out, I kept hammering ChatGPT with the same prompt, which is, I don't want a bunch of people come here, spend money to come here, go home and do nothing with it.
Yeah,
I want people to make a material change. I want a measurable change. Now, some of them absolutely did, you know, but this is my problem with patient care. It's like, how do I justify? How do I feel good? How do I go to sleep at night knowing whether it's the patient's money or the insurance company's money that they are going to take and get value from the hour they spent with me today? Because I know that most of them are not. Most of them are going to, you know, appreciate the time, get the benefit temporarily. They're not going to follow up. They're not going to make the lifestyle change. And a week later, everything is wasted. They're no better than they were before they came to therapy. So I kept trying to hammer that idea into the AI so that I had the best possible chance of delivering sustainable results. And like I said, out of the roughly 10 people, I know at least 3 took off. Like their business is doing amazing. Their social media is doing amazing. They've added likely tens of thousands of revenue just based on what they were doing. Would they have done it without me? Yeah, I think they probably would have. You know, and this goes to that point is the successful people are going to be successful no matter what.
Yeah. But you might have made it sooner or faster or smoother or easier, making it less scary and more clear. Like I've got a podcast cohort. I'm teaching a bunch of healthcare people how to launch a podcast, but really I'm teaching them all of this, like content, right? Whatever the hell you want to call it. And I said, you're all smart. You'll have freaking higher ed degrees. Why do you need me? You could Google this and download a checklist. You go to AI. I'm like, you're not here for information. You're here for clarity, and you're here for, it's not motivation. You're here for accountability. Now, you still need to do it. Now, remember, that's what your listener is there for. If you think you're just here to read a chapter in a book to someone in a microphone and that's going to guarantee you a connection or listens or that bringing you business, I have news for you. It's not. They are looking for clarity and accountability to something or someone other than themselves. And that was like lesson 1 or 2. I haven't said the word microphone yet. I haven't said the word camera yet. And we're in week 3 or 4. I'm like, I haven't said download yet, except to say downloads don't matter. I got a friend who launched a podcast for physical therapist assistants. She's in Ohio because I knew her for, at that point, 5 or 6 years. And she's like, well, I'm just a PTA. I'm just a PTA, just a PTA. And I'm like, I like several of those words you're saying. And I dislike one. You keep saying PTA. Big fan. You keep saying just. And I think it shits on everything after you. I'm just anything. It just undermines to the point where I poked her enough. And I was like, if more people knew about how great PTAs were, would more people become PTAs? Would more patients get helped? Would more businesses thrive? Because Tony's saying, hire more PTAs. They're more cost effective. And she's like, yeah. And I go, then why don't you start a podcast for one? Because there really wasn't one. And she was super hesitant until I was like, I will show you what microphone to buy and how to do it and how to blah, 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 blah. And now she's got 10,000 downloads. And I'm like, whoops, look what happened. How'd that happen? But PTA is a small market, Jimmy. If your goal was downloads, aiming at a small market of PTAs would have been a bad idea. Her goal wasn't downloads. Her goal was impact. And she found it.
Speaking of impact, the Gary V, let me see if I can pull this up here real quick.
Oh, the one you shared with me? What was that?
Yeah, the Chili's.
Oh, yes. This is brilliant.
So
don't play it though, because don't play the audio because I keep getting dinged on whatever platform because of
I won't play it. I'll just show it here. This is Gary Vaynerchuk talking about this Chili's video.
Yes.
Where just an influencer talking about, this appetizer. She shares this. Do you remember the numbers? Because I don't remember the numbers.
I don't know, a bajillion, I believe. A lot.
So to the point where if you understand the Chili's franchise, they have restaurants all over the country. They could measure the impact of this one video on increased sales in their restaurants.
Wild.
What's that?
Wild. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, going back to the top of the show, like primary care physical therapy. It's one of those deals where it just takes one. It takes one post, it takes one video, it takes one image, it takes one thing to go viral that launches this entire campaign. And, how many thousands of posts before and after this one just were dead, just had no real growth, no real following.
Gotta keep going.
But it just took that one. Nobody knows which one it's going to be. And I really believe, like, as I've been in this world now for over a decade, there is no like formula, right? There is no, well, post every 3 hours or find when your viewers are watching. No, it's a combination of you put out a post. I have shared the same post, taken it down, put it up, taken it down, put it up and on the third one, it hits 1 million views, same exact video, same everything. I think it's a combination of factors. What else is out there? What else is the algorithm pushing at that moment? Who by luck caught your video and watched it to the end? Like all of these things that you cannot possibly control for. It just clicked at the right time. But that one video had a sizable impact on a multi-million-dollar company that now, we can see it just takes one post. It just takes one video.
So the story was she's just a random, she wasn't paid by Chili's. She walked in and ordered the cheesy mozzarella sticks and shot a video, and kudos to the cook who was working that night because they did it right. Because you can screw anything up in a kitchen. Trust me. I know. And it was like she like pulled the mozzarella stick and the cheese was like chef's kiss. And then that thing popped off. And people saw that and they did not think anything other than their own self-interest, which was, where do I get some of that? And the answer was Chili's. And it's not a hard math equation right there. So yes, this applies to you. And I know you don't sell mozzarella sticks, but you sell something. You do. Yeah. I mean, my most viewed Instagram thing, did you see the Avengers video that I made? If PTs, I essentially took the personality of all the Avengers and matched them to the specialties of PTs, like outpatient orthos, Captain America, sports PTs, or Tony Stark and Iron Man. And I was like drinking my second coffee of the morning. My one eye wasn't even open yet. And I was like, that's a weird parallel. And it's not like I invented this. Like people have done this, but I was like, who would be this or who would be that? And then it took me 6 minutes to write the script or just the outline. And I shot it. And one of my friends was like, way to have your most famous video, which is well over 100,000 views from a couple weeks ago. And like my hair wasn't combed because I just woke up. But I'm also like, maybe that made it better because I was just like, you could tell I just woke up and I was like, hey, interesting thought experiment. What if this was that? And then I just popped off. Yeah, I had some engaging visuals. I might have shared that on a random Tuesday and it might not have gone anywhere, but I lucked out that it did.
What platform did that video get the traction on?
Instagram.
Okay. Did you share that video to the other platforms? What did it do there? Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out. So I've got a couple different types of videos that I'm playing with. I was doing the Avengers for if this, then that videos they called. I'm doing like books that I like Robert Cialdini Persuasion or 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, but I'm not doing 12 minutes on it. I'm like so I come in with like a strong hook and then I say, here's the book, flash it on the screen. And I go, the main takeaway, I'll save you, $14 in 2 days of your life instead of reading it. And I give them the quick takeaway and then I just stop. And that was doing well for a while. And then it stopped. Why? I don't. Who the hell knows? And I might try it again in a week. And it's the thing that defines my career. I know it doesn't work. It doesn't work until it does.
Right. A quick strategy that's kind of interesting. And you could use this because you have enough history behind you. There's an issue with duplicate content when you're just spamming the algorithm, putting tons of this stuff out there. Like no doubt, nobody wants to see the same thing, 30 seconds apart. But like Mr. Beast, there's a clip of Mr. Beast asking a guy how he got so many subscribers. And he said he's posting like thousands of video clips a day. Yeah, it's just crazy numbers.
So what's the duplicative? Can they tell if it's the exact same video based on the waveform, or is it just like, so what are you saying? Are you saying don't actually share the exact same video?
Yes, don't share the exact same video if the other video is still live, but through Meta Business Suites, I think it is. I don't know if you use that at all, but there are so many great tools in that. I can go in, I can go back, I can set my date range. So what I've been doing is I go back to January of 2025. I look at the videos, I look at how they performed. I find the video that I think will probably perform well, whether it did then or not, doesn't matter. Okay. I download it because I don't have it. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere on a hard drive, but you can download through Meta the HD version of the video. I download it. I go to the original post. I delete it. Then if I want, I will make some changes. Maybe I change something about it. I definitely change the post that goes along with it. Right. And then I repost it. Now, you know, take it for what it is. I am not an expert on social media, but I haven't had any issues so far. And quite often those videos perform really well. I've got a whole new set of eyeballs, a whole new set of followers. It's not putting that video in front of the same people per se. Right. But even if it is, like, I see the same video come through my feeds at times. It's still an interesting video. If I watch it the first time, I'm probably going to watch at least some of it again. Right. That's been a success. So you have so much content years ago that it's just not getting out there anymore. I would do the same on YouTube. I would download it from YouTube, delete it, make it unlisted, make it private, do whatever you want to do, and then re-upload it and see how that kind of content performs.
Shoot, I was just going to ask you something and then I forgot. Oh, I hate when that happens. I got to write this stuff down.
We're at the top of the show. We're going live again tomorrow. Normal PT Breakfast Club. Dave's back.
I'm excited for that. And then I will be excited to have at least some preliminary data of dropping 12 episodes in one day. I'll see what that does. Usually need a few days to really see what the analytics shake out to. I remember in early podcasting 10 years ago, I could hit refresh every 12 minutes or 17 minutes and you could watch. Now, I got to wait like 48 hours to see how something did, which just shows you the change in size and all that. It's kind of wild. All right, parting shot. What's your parting shot?
We talked about a lot. You know, the bottom line is, I think the people watching this, listening to this, you guys are doers. You guys are the kind of people that will get a piece of information, determine if it's useful. If it is, you will execute on that. That's why you're business owners. That's why you're successful. That's why you've done well your entire life. Keep doing that. That is the formula. There's no shortcut to it.
I would say yes, and approach this from a scientific perspective, right? 80-20, like 20% of the stuff that you do is going to give you 80% of the results. Which 20%, Jimmy? I don't know. Neither do you. None of the people in the big offices. You just don't know. So what's the lever I like to pull? Again, I mentioned the Fit VP principle. I just did a video. Go look at it. It'll save you $5,000 in a marketing weekend course. That one lever you can adjust pretty easily, frequency. And it will teach you a lot. You will get a lot of information by doing. Do, inform, refine, do again. So Fit VP is your marketing principle for the day. All right, we'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll have more fake sponsors on the live stream. Enjoy your snow day, everybody. Enjoy your...
That's it. We're out.
Boys, what the hell are you doing?
Follow Tony Maritano on YouTube at Total Therapy Solution. Find Dave Kittle at ConciergePainRelief.com and on YouTube at The Dave Kittle Show. And follow Jimmy McKay at PT Pinecast on YouTube, the socials, and wherever you binge podcasts you pretend are for CEUs. And hey, just a reminder, none of this was for advice. This was for entertainment only. Our lawyers say that counts. Thanks, Keith.